What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. We are back with the finale episode of F1 2018 career mode. As you can see by the standings there, we are not in any position whatsoever to be fighting for the championship. The first half of the season, we were in a Williams, now we're at Mercedes, and yeah, we're just kind of playing for pride, trying to restore a bit of competitiveness into this team once again. We did redeem ourselves somewhat. I mean, when I say myself, I mean the team, and I mean Lewis, so the opposite side of the garage in that episode. So go check it out if you want to go see it. But we're still soul-searching at the moment a little bit. Our pace hasn't been so flash. Haven't made it out of Q1 for the last 2 or 3 races. A stat which I don't think has been... I don't know, that's never happened to me, has it? Apart from like a backmarker team, I shouldn't be in a midfield team and not getting out of Q1. That's just not like me. But hopefully today we can do that. We come across the line, and thankfully we have broken the curse. We are through to qualifying 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. We are a top flight Mercedes driver up there with the greats. Thank you. I mean, if that doesn't get a like, I don't know what would, to be honest. Subscribe as well to see plenty more racing getting content. We've got F1 2019 just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Q2, let's do this. I loaded a setup, so that helped. I loaded a track-specific setup. The thing that might have been setting me back in previous episodes was I was using like a setup for a different track, and I would have thought, you know, I got the setup from an esports driver. It should be okay at other circuits, but maybe it was just a very niche circuit for a specific track. Can't remember what it was. It was either Spa or China. But anyway, let's see what we can do with a Abu Dhabi setup applied to our car. We're going okay at the moment. P13, not the greatest. The Mercedes should just about slide into the top 10 if we get a good lap together, so we'll see what we can make of that. 13 seconds left in the session, and you're going to see the entirety of this lap just to see if it's down to me or whether the AI's lap times are just ridiculous in qualifying, or maybe it's a bit of both. Because I have heard some rumors, you know, Tom97HD is the biggest advocate of the AI's qualifying times being completely unrealistic. I personally have never seen that in my career modes. I feel like I can keep up with the AI, but as of late, I don't know, it's been a bit of a different story, but I'm not throwing that out there yet. I think I'm still pretty crap at this game. Anyway, this lap has been pretty good. 2/10 up as we go through the middle sector. The 2 straights. Oh god, what the hell? That was, you weren't meant to see that. Bit of an editing blunder. Maybe I'll just leave that in there so you can see exactly what I just saw. That was trippy as hell. I need to edit in the start sequence to the start of this video. Anyway, 4/10 up as we go through the hotel section. Love this part of the circuit when you can get it right. The car feels nice and grippy. Did notice a lot more traction with this setup than previous ones I had. I was sliding around all over the place. For the previous setup I was using for the last few races. Through to the final corner. Looks like we're going to improve by an absolute mile. Is it good enough though? For qualifying 3. No, it's not. No, it is not. It is 11th place, but how much have we missed out by? How much, game? Tell me. 2/10. Okay, that's fair enough. That's a pretty sizable gap. I made a couple of mistakes at the start of the lap. I ran wide out of the first chicane, and I think the hairpin corner wasn't great for me either. So, if you take that in consideration, we might have just squeezed into Q3, sorry, but it would have only been marginal. But still, we're a second slower than Lewis, which is still unfathomable how I'm that much slower than a teammate. I've always been the one who was a second clear of my teammate. So really, does that mean I'm 2 seconds off the pace? Because if it does, then I'm going to cry. Resource points. We'll spend those at the end of the episode for next season's car. But it's time for the race. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, final chance to impress for this season and to make a mark on what has been a pretty average one for us.
So here we are, ready to go racing for one final time this year. Another season of victories, controversies and rivalries lies in our wake. And just one challenge remains here in the United Arab Emirates on a circuit that made its spectacular debut back in 2009. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to ask you about Charles Leclerc. They've had a fantastic campaign. It's been a wonderful year, and they come into this weekend's Grand Prix as a fully deserving champion.
It really is well deserved. I wouldn't say it's been a faultless title challenge, but certainly one that has been consistent and well managed. Here's hoping they let off a bit of steam today and give us an exciting race.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Charles Leclerc, Mr. Monaco, Hartley, Sainz, Verstappen and Marcus Ericsson. Sirotkin, Ocon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Lance Stroll and Perez, Hülkenberg, Gasly, Kevin Magnussen and Fernando Alonso. Grosjean and Stoffel van Dorn completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
It's been a long season, but let's try to end it on a high note.
Let's also do that. We have a license to thrill in this last one. Being the final race, nothing is at stake. We've been moved up a couple of places as well, up to P6, I think. So a lot more track position than what we've had previously. One also other fun fact is Daniel Ricciardo was fastest all weekend. Every single practice session he was topping the sessions for some reason, despite Red Bull not having any other upgrade. So he might be one to watch in this final race. 5 red lights and away we go to the season finale of F1 2018 career mode. Let's see what we can do side by side with a Renault and a Toro Rosso as we head into turn 1. The Sauers once again skittled down the order. We've got Leclerc right in front of us, P5, but Ericsson at the back end of the top 10. That's us basically rodeoing that curb like a bucking bull. I've completely stuffed that up, haven't I? I'm going up the inside. Oh, Charles Leclerc there into P5. And my goodness, are we in a good position at the start of this race. Now we can chase after the front guys. The guys who are arguably just as fast as what I am in this season of career mode. We've got the Sauers coming back at me here. Ericsson is lining up a move on me as well as we try and fight off Leclerc through the middle sector chicane, separating the two back straights, but that's not been a great exit. The Sauber behind will get some slipstream. No DRS, of course, but looks like we've got the other Sauber lining up a move as well. It's going to be 3 wide as we head into the third sector, and we just about come out on top. My goodness, I did not think I would be saying that. Right, fighting up against the Sauers on my own with a very, very inferior car. What a start to this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Like I said, the guys in front of us are somewhat of a similar pace, so I'm really rating myself to have a go, get stuck in, and see if I can win this race. The big difference between this race and the last couple of ones is that I've just got that much more confidence to push. I feel like maybe I was a little bit hard done by in qualifying. Like I genuinely have the pace to run with these guys. Maybe not the Saubers, but I feel like I can at least fight with these guys now. You saw how ridiculously fast they were in Sao Paulo today. Oh my god, they're just as fast here, but I don't know. There's a lot more low-speed corners here at Abu Dhabi, and maybe that doesn't quite play to the strengths of the Sauber. I'm not too sure. At least we seem like we can keep them behind everywhere apart from the straights, where obviously that's the biggest overtaking zones for them, I guess. Here's Leclerc having a little move there on the back straight with DRS open. Now they can unlock the DRS. It just makes defending that much harder against these Saubers, so maybe I need to let these guys go, think about the bigger picture, and stay with these guys possibly, and I don't know, follow them up to the path to glory. But the thing is, once these guys get track position, it's going to be sayonara for the rest of this race. We've got a Renault going slowly through the first sector. Not too sure who that is. But meanwhile, we've still got one Sauber behind us as he gets squeezed up onto the ripple strip. He also locked up in the process, and now he's falling victim to Carlos Sainz in the Renault. So it must be Hülkenberg who is struggling at the moment. We'll get a replay now. It appears to be a right rear puncture, so he'll be limping his way back to the pit lane. We may see a safety car or even virtual safety car if he trundles around very slow for long enough. The speed at which he's going suggests to me that we're going to catch up to him at some point. And here goes Sebastian Vettel, the race leader, catching up to him right now. This is going to be very crucial for his race to make sure he doesn't lose his front wing. Simulation damage, mind you. Next up is this group of cars, which I'm trying to chase down now. So it'll be crucial for, well, Hulkenberg to get out of the way and not interfere with the leaders, which it looks like he's done. So well done. It's not too often you see the leaders get through unscathed, but now is the big test, the midfield, to make sure that they don't clatter into the side of him. And it looks like one of the Force Indians just did that as I cut away. Unfortunately, that was the end of the recording tape that I had. That makes sense on the flashback. But anyway, P6, we're holding down a solid position at the moment. Ericsson has mighty pace. Oh, here comes the back markers. Do they get through? Do they get through? Oh, Hulkenberg, he's a good boy, isn't he? He's not being selfish. He's actually pulled off to the side. Leclerc has pulled into the pit lane. He's now last in the field. So he's doing a potential two-stopper in this race. So that'll be an interesting strategy to watch. We've got my teammate battling away with Ericsson, who's also battling away with Kimi Räikkönen. Sebastian Vettel still leading out front. Absolutely checking out in this Grand Prix. Almost a throwback to his Red Bull days. But now we've got the Hypersoft runners making their stop here. So this is going to be interesting. Do they go for the one stop, which is possible?
Verstappen behind. Our gap behind is 1.1 seconds. They're on old Ultra Softs. Their tyres are 8 laps old. We think they've got one more stop.
Let's get a rundown on my teammate. Is he doing a two-stop as well? Verstappen is the same as us.
Lewis is currently in P9. Gap to teammate behind is 16.5 seconds. They're on fresh Hypersofts.
Okay, so Hamilton on fresh Hypersofts. He's stopping again. Interesting. If you go for the soft compound, you can actually make it to the end of the race. Or it's soft or super soft, whatever the hardest compound is. Bloody hell, this is why they got rid of the different tyre regulation, naming convention. You can make a one-stop possible on the Hypers, but it looks like the AI is not opting for it, so they're going Ultras to the end on a two-stop. Here goes Verstappen. He's on the same strategy as me, starting on the Ultras, and he'll be going on the Supers to the end, the red-striped tyres. Looks like he is doing the undercut on us, so it's going to be interesting to see how much of a gain he gets out of this. However, we'll have the fresher tyres for the rest of this race. Yellow flag through the third sector. There is a VSC deployed as well. Hulkenberg finally bites the bullets and retires from the Grand Prix. This is going to help out Verstappen massively because he gets a free pit stop. He was already in the pit lane when that VSC got called out, so he might be in contention for this race win. He's on the one stop. I'm on the one stop as well. Sebastian Vettel has opted for a two stop. This race just got very, very interesting. In for the supers and out again. Verstappen has already emerged in front of us. What about the rest of the field though? It looks like it's going to be anyone behind us just has no chance, I suppose. So this will be interesting. Myself versus Verstappen possibly. He's only 2 seconds up the road. He's now getting held up by Ericsson, who now has a problem. I didn't include it in the footage, but my engineer did tell me that Ericsson has mechanical problems. I think it might be front wing related because he was absolutely a slow tortoise in the high speed stuff, and now this has ruined any of the gain that Verstappen got initially. So, challenge for the win. I think it is still between myself, Verstappen, and Vettel, who is on the two-stop. He's the best of the two-stoppers. Everyone else, I don't think is really in contention. This is what it's come down to, essentially. We need to get in front of Ericsson. He's holding us up so much here. We're all over the back of Verstappen, just trying to find an avenue past, but he's not living up to his ballsy self, is he? I'm just weaving. I've got nothing to do. I've got nowhere to go. It's just an actual roadblock as they go through turn one. Ericsson finally makes a mistake. We actually overtake under yellow flags, but it looks like it's fine because he might have been the one who caused the yellows. Anyway, looking for a move on Verstappen. He actually moved under the brakes, under the braking zone, which is much more realistic to what he does in the sports. So nice to see, Codemasters, nice to see. It's, you're following the traits into the AI as well. Don't know if that was intentional or not, probably wasn't. Anyway, we've got the two stoppers making their final one. Sebastian Vettel just rejoined in front of Verstappen, so he's got fresh, ultra soft tyres on, and he is going to the end of the race. So that battling we had with Ericsson was crucial because now it's allowed Vettel to have clear air in front. So now we're going for the move here, round the outside, and that is us up into P2. P2. What are these lofty heights? I'm not used to it. We also had Daniel Ricciardo, who just pitted as well on the same lap as Vettel. He rejoined right behind us, and here comes the Australian up the inside or outside. What is he doing here? Oh, you think he's done a Baku? He's done a Baku 2018. He's just run into the back of Verstappen, chipped off a bit of his front wing. Obviously, nowhere near as dramatic as what it was in real life, but still, he's just ruined his chances of getting in the mix here for the podium. He's going to have to pit again or limp it back to the pits for 10. Limp it back to the end for 10 laps. In this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, we've got Lance Stroll out of the race as well. I was looking behind me to see who that was. I thought it was a Mercedes. I was crapping myself. But here we go. This race has come alive. All through strategy. P2. Looking unlikely that we're going to catch Vettel. He's got a fresher tyre and a slightly better car. And it looks like he's checking out up front. 5 seconds is the gap up ahead. But the battle for P2 rages on. Daniel Ricciardo is still pretty fast, even with some front wing damage. So he'll be one to watch, I suppose. Just have to make sure we keep him behind on the straights. That's all he's really threatening us with. He's got nothing in the corners, but he's just holding on to DRS and allowing himself to stay in the battle. 7 laps to go. The people on 2-stop strategies are catching up, it's worth noting. So we've got the likes of Carlos Sainz making inroads. We've also got Lewis Hamilton making some gains as well. So we need to not battle too much, but we do need to keep track position, obviously. Just do it in a clean and efficient manner, I suppose. But here goes Ricciardo on the back straight, trying to give him the big squeeze to deter him from making the move. Obviously, that's not going to work. Let's see if we can go around the outside. He does have front wing damage, so I think I can pull this off. Can I? No, I'm setting up the exit, and if possible, I might actually go around the outside again for the triple chicane because of the front wing damage. If we can get around the outside of him here, we have a better front wing, better in the corners. We do have the inside for the next right-hander. That's what I was planning for. I eventually got there, and we are back into P2, thankfully. Ricciardo still annoyingly holding on with his front wing damage. How is this possible? I know he's got the ultra soft tyre on, but man, this guy would be absolutely impossible to defend from if he had that complete front wing on the car. Meanwhile, we skipped forward a couple of laps on the replay camera. Ricciardo got overtaken by Sainz, and now Verstappen has been overtaken by Lewis. So I said these guys were coming. They finally arrived with just a couple of laps to go in this race. Now, this is the true test. A Renault. A bloody Renault on softer compounder tyre versus me on my old supers. This is going to be a battle for the ages for the final 2 laps of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. This is what it's all come down to. P2, 18 points. It's going to mean absolutely nothing for my championship. I can't move forward, and I can't really move backwards unless I DNF and Verstappen gets P2, which is looking very unlikely. It's all for pride and to make sure we finish off the season well. Here goes Sainz around the outside. Let's see if we can hold him off. We're going to go late under brakes and deter him from making the move. Oh, he's going for it anyway. You are a madman. Did you not see what happened to your teammate this season because of one of the Haas's at that very corner? You nearly caused that. My goodness. He goes around the outside anyway on the next straight. That Renault is unbelievable in a straight line. Not so great in the corner. I mean, it's okay. It's just about as good as us in the corners. But in a straight line. How? How? Can you have that pace in real life, please? That'll make me very happy as an Australian. It's the last lap of the Grand Prix. This is my last roll of the dice to try and get Sainz. A massive tank slapper on the exit of the hairpin prevented me from coming anywhere near Sainz. His straight line speed was amazing anyway. Even with DRS, I couldn't do nothing. Sebastian Vettel wins the race. He checked out up front, kept the gap, and on the 2-stop, he was the faster man. It's going to be P3 for us, finishing off with a podium. Not a bad way to end things.
Alright, I know it's been a rough year, but let's try to stay positive. Even the greats had some poor seasons, so we'll knuckle down over the winter and come back stronger next time.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
I remember the familiar red suit. I think it was the start of this career mode series. Because Raikkonen went on a massive dominant run in the first half of Season 1, and all we heard every time was, here comes that guy in that familiar red suit. Unfortunately, it's not Raikkonen, it is Sebastian Vettel. That is the end of Season 3 of F1 2018 career mode. A bit of a weird one. We tried to go down the Williams routes, realized we couldn't win the championship, and then I decided to change it up and switch to Mercedes. It's been an interesting time. I thought we would have been more competitive than what we are. Obviously, we lost a lot of momentum when we switched teams. Mercedes went back to 0 resource points, and that took us a while to gain some momentum again, but we finally done so. Lewis won the last race. I've got a podium here, and with the regulation change coming up just around the corner, anything is possible. But we found some momentum. We found some confidence here at this circuit, so it gives me signs of hope for next season that we can potentially challenge Renault. Sauber is in a league of their own, but it sets it up beautifully for what could be a 3-team title fight next season. Dare I say, maybe even Ferrari getting into the mix now with their upwards trend of momentum today. Who knows? But that's the end of this season of career mode. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Here comes the stream of resource points. If anything, that is a lot of resource points. 2,900. We might be able to do some big boy upgrades into Season 4.
I think seeing as it's the end of the season, now is a good time to talk about your less than ideal record this year. My job is to negotiate on your behalf, but you're not giving me much to work with here. Plus, this isn't exactly doing my career any good, so I need you to shape up, for both our sakes.
Just wanted to say congrats on the podium. It's thoroughly deserved. We were sweating those last few laps on the pit wall, but you brought it home.
Thank you, Jeff. At least he's optimistic about what has transpired so far in this career mode. But there we go. That is the end. Now comes the decision. We are going to do a couple of upgrades. Since aero isn't affected by the regulation change, we're going to go for a ultimate upgrade for drag reduction. We're also going for an ultimate upgrade in weight reduction. Take that, Sauber. Let's see what you guys are made of this time next season. That's 2 ultimate upgrades heading into next season. That could be the difference enough to bring us up to their level, or at least Renault's level. We'll see. In terms of the rest of the upgrades, we're going to just consolidate some durability stuff. We may as well, since there's nothing else I can really do. I could maybe do one downforce upgrade or so, but we're going to leave it. We'll focus on that heading into next season. That is the graph showing the trend of upgrades for everyone. We started off with Williams. They were massively slower than everyone throughout the field. We brought them up to a decent level, then realized we were in a little bit too deep, couldn't win the championship. Then we switched to Mercedes. There was a big drought of no upgrades as we built our bank of resource points up again. And yeah, we finally got some momentum going again in the last couple of races. Yeah, so I guess it just takes a while to get the ball rolling with a team. But once you get that momentum, boy, it is like a steam train, as you guys saw in Season 2 with Sauber. But anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this season of career mode. I know it hasn't been the most consistent series that I've uploaded on my channel, so massive thanks to all you guys who are still tuning in, despite this being a really long, strung out season. If we do, and I'm pretty sure I will do another season, it will be much more condensed and regular than what this one has been, obviously, since, you know, we got F1 2019 just around the corner. So thank you guys so much for watching. Who knows what will happen in Season 4, but hopefully it is 10 times more exhilarating than what this one was. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for a brand new video. Cheers.
There are rumours that you're looking for a contract with another team. Is there any truth to that?